All right, 3 million%. How are we doing? Let's make you influencers. Okay. But first, there's a process. We got to go through learning how to be a connector, then a transformer, then we can become influencers. So let's get into how to make that happen. Something that happened with me when I was starting out is, yeah, leveraging networks is what we talk about here, but I was a part of a lot. I joined a lot, but I already had a lot of things that I had done in my life where I could find commonality with people. Okay. So by leveraging networks, one thing I learned to do was be able to take relationships I had from one organization and introduce them to people that they needed to know in another organization. Okay. So you can see here, I was in, granted, he had Facebook and LinkedIn. I was on that, but also Association of Former Students with Texas A&M. That's where I went to college. I was in Chamber of Commerce. I had my church. I did nonprofit things. Also, I volunteered at city events or uh, went to city events with the people that were thought leaders in the city. I even did service organizations like Rotary, but also people don't think about the gym, right? So there's a lot of things that people are already involved in and engaged, but they just don't think about how to use that to their advantage. So what we're going to talk about with leveraging networks is how to take advantage of all of that. Okay, let's get started. So here again, we have the trust funnel, and this new little triangle here is the levels of engagement. So we're having to work from the outside in, keep that in mind, and we're working into depth of trust and speed of trust along this funnel. So basically, we need people to know who we are, right? Before we can leverage a network with them. And so we do that by becoming engaged in the large group. That's why we have all these organizations around the side. I wanted to keep those in front of you because you can see how I was able to take those and get people to know me by introducing myself and becoming engaged in those organizations. Now, then we need people to like us, right? So we want people to like you in your organization. So how do we do that? We narrow that focus. You volunteer to be on committees, even lead committees, right? You show up to events and you become that person they look to for answers in that small group. So that deepens that trust with those who are already engaged. Again, if you're not creating prospects, you're trying to create referral generators for yourself, and that gives you the influence. So we keep trying to narrow this focus. Then we need them to trust us. Okay. Once they trust us, that really solidifies that referral generator mentality that they might have. Okay. And it brings us influence with them and from them. We gain that through one-on-one time with them. That could be those 30-minute conversations and one-on-one meetings. That could be serving alongside them. We just want to create that one-on-one time where they get to know us deeper, better, faster. We want to speed that trust funnel to get them to a place of trust. So that means if we do it right, they'll come to us for everything. That's what creates that Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter mindset where they come to us for the answers for everything. So if you're involved in all of these types of organizations, people might come to you for answers that you're seeing out in the community, and they will know you as someone who knows people and has trusted information and relationships about the community. So it's been 2 years since I've been a financial advisor, and I still have people come to me both for financial advice as well as referrals in the community that I'm in. So that's important. We want to really accelerate that process and make them excited to come to you for answers, whether it be about an immediate need they have or an immediate need someone that they know has. So let's talk about how to do that. Relationships are created through engagement and personal interaction. We already talked about that. Speed and depth of trust is accelerated through common interest, experiences, and relationships. So again, the faster you connect your trusted relationships to those who share common interest, the faster you grow your trust and influence among both parties. So the greater the volume, the greater the growth of your relational influence. So try to cross-pollinate these networks. We want to create one-to-one. Connectors, what they do is create one-to-one relationships. They make a lot of one-off introductions. And yeah, they're trying to be strategic in how they introduce and things like that. But we usually do it from the inside out. People that we know, introducing them to people who need help, things like that. So we want to do it inside out and outside in, kind of like that whole digital selling versus digital marketing concept, where we're doing both and we're trying to make, I'm going to say prospects come to us, but we're going in after them as well. That's what we're trying to do here with the inside out and outside in, and how we do that. If you go back to that growth hacking influence guide too. So we want to connect people one-to-one, kind of like we were connecting the yellow circles together. That's a connector. That's what a connector does. Now, a transformer operates a little bit differently. A transformer connects connectors to other connectors. So you may have a connector here that you volunteer with at city functions, and you might connect them to a connector that you know that's in the Chamber of Commerce, make them start working together to basically grow trust with one another, but also start doing events together and things like that. And that really helps your credibility, even though you might not even be actively involved with both. They attribute that introduction to you. And it's actually more ideal if you stay engaged with both of them and help them in each of their activities. And it just does wonders for your credibility, for referrals, all of it, your influence. It's works really well. So transformers connect and mentor connectors. So they connect one to many, right? So they're connecting one to many by connecting connectors in different organizations. Now, influencers, they connect transformers to transformers. So you're going to see them in higher levels, maybe even larger companies, higher city and county offices held, things like that. But you want to get to know those transformers and influencers and spend time with them to get to know who they know and learn what they do and how they work. And that's how you aspire to become an influencer, by making so many connections that eventually people see you as that transformer or even influencer. So a lot of times you think of influencers might be more regional or something like this. Now on digital media, on social media, it's become a lot easier to take on that influencer role, but I define it differently than what they do, because it's almost a manipulation on social media, or it can be this perceived value that someone must have because they talk about a product or something like that. With relational marketing, relationship marketing, it's different because it's who they know, who they actually can connect you to, that brings the most value. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also, an influencer, I see them as a generator of education, encouragement, accountability, experience, and that builds and connects transformers on a state and national level, as I mentioned before. So it connects, they connect many to many. So comment with a boom to let us know